Basketball what's been going on? We are back with some episodes to give you the information that you need to get going in the right direction of your basketball journey. But first, have you been doing your training? Have you been up to speed on everything that we have given and delivered here on Basketball U? Well, make sure you check out the channel fully, as we have an array of information for you, as well as training videos to get you started. So you want to be a basketball player and you want to make a career out of it. Well, there's a long list of people that want to do the same thing that you want to do. But the thing that separates you from that long list is what you do differently on a day-to-day basis. I'm here to give you a few tips on what to do if it is your first time learning and becoming a student in the game of basketball. Now, these few tips are going to take you through your journey on every level as you proceed to get better in the game of basketball, off the court, and in other areas of the game, because the game of basketball doesn't only deal with just the game. So that's important for you to know before I give you those tips. So tip number 1, learn the basics. Before playing basketball, it's important to just know the rules of the game, as well as the different positions and responsibilities of the players on the court. This will help you as a player to understand the game better and make it easier for you to get involved. This is the most overlooked thing when it comes to playing the game of basketball in the new generation. We are swamped with so much content, and it's so hard to find information on just the basics. The importance of skill over athleticism and natural talent will take you a long way in this game of basketball. When you look up or find out who Kobe is, you will see and hear stories of Kobe working out just even without a basketball, as he imagined himself working on his footwork, shooting, passing, and like playing in an actual game. Obviously, I'm speaking about one of the best players to ever grace the court of basketball, and that person is Kobe Bryant. Now, when looking at the next step, we want to look into getting equipped with the right things or materials that are going to get you to enhance your game as a basketball player. So you want to make sure you have the right equipment, such as a basketball with the proper air. Also, if you don't have a newer ball, it is a little important to get a newer ball so that you can develop good habits when starting the process to learn how to dribble and really feel that basketball. The feel of the ball is important on working on continuous repetition when it comes to dribbling it a certain way, feeling it to make a certain pass a certain way, or even when you are form shooting and feeling threads, laces, the rubber dots on the ball, depending on what type of basketball you have. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, your pair of shoes, your pair of basketball shoes are important because you want to have a grip. You want to have some stability where your ankle can move a little bit. You don't want your shoes to be too tight. You don't want them to be too high, right? So there's a lot of different technology-based things for the basketball shoe. Now, as a first-time player, we don't really know the game that well, and we don't even realize that some of the better players in the NBA or just pro basketball in general, some of them have their own shoes. Those shoes tend to be pretty pricey. So if I were you, I would not fall into the trap of getting the latest design in shoe technology for $200+ until you can physically, what's the word I'm looking for? That's right. You can actually utilize the technology in the shoe. If you're not making hard cuts, you're not jumping 40 inches off the ground, then the absorption on the bottom of the shoe and all those different aspects of the shoe aren't going to make that much of a difference for you when you're first starting. So just getting your basic athletic basketball shoe at a nice price at a discounted store. Nikes have outlets, all these different places. You can afford those shoes. Okay, so those are important. Make sure your athletic clothing fits properly so you can basically achieve the movement needed to complete any task or drill. Okay, so this is important because sometimes clothes can be too big. Sometimes clothes can be a little tight and a little too small. And also maybe a sleeve or something will, not give you access to a certain motion when shooting or moving your hands or raising your hands. So that's the important thing when thinking about the clothing that you're wearing as far as your athletic gear. So please keep that in mind. All right. Next thing on the agenda in becoming a basketball player, you want to start with drills and exercises. Typically, if you feel like you don't know drills right away, you can also start with just exercises alone. But basketball requires a lot of physical activity, so it's important to start by working on basic skills as dribbling, passing, and shooting. But there are plenty of drills and exercises that can help you to improve these skills, along with those basic skills that we talked about earlier that you also want to work on when it comes to the movement of basketball. So what do I mean by the basics of movement? You want to incorporate all basketball movements in your beginner workouts because that is what you'll typically do, and it's different from other sport specific movements. So what I mean is, let's say you were a baseball player. Well, baseball players may not do a through the legs move in a certain direction. But in basketball, you may have to put the ball through the legs sideways, right? And in baseball, you're really moving laterally a lot of the times, or north and south. So it's not too much of a movement to where you're going to be low and in an awkward position. So you want to know how to move based on the sports related movement. Okay, so I hope that's not too confusing. All right, then looking ahead, we want to go ahead and now, as we start to learn the game of basketball, learn how to move without the basketball. See, that's important too. Okay, ball movement is key in basketball, and so it's important for a player to learn how to move without the ball and make themselves available for any opportunities coming from their teammate. The biggest thing about learning how to move without the ball, and we have a video on it here at Basketball U, is we want to be able to do more things without just having the ball in our hand. And it'll make more sense to you when you start playing and you realize everybody can't dribble. Everybody can't bring the ball up. So once you realize that, you will start learning, how can I get open to where someone will pass me the ball? And one, I don't have to dribble because I ran and cut right under the basket, or I cut to a spot on the floor that left me wide open that gives me an opportunity to shoot the ball now. So you'll learn more of this skill when time comes, or watching our videos moving forward as you continue to learn more from Basketball U. One thing I will say is, and can't emphasize enough, is teamwork. You may have heard the phrase, teamwork makes the dream work, right? There's no I in team. All these different phrases are just explaining how important the other person that's playing with you is. Now, you have 5 people on the court, so it's not really an individual based game, even though individuals are highlighted for the things they do well on the court. You got to understand that for you as a player, it's important to be a good teammate. Okay? Basketball is a team sport. Therefore, it is important for you, the player, to learn how to work with your teammates and understand the importance of what teamwork does for the group as a whole. Okay? And then when you start doing that, it gives you the opportunity to learn from experienced players. I, one, was a player myself, and you are learning from me. And you guys are my teammates. Everybody out here at Basketball U. That's what I want you to understand. Okay. I'm actually probably going to start calling you guys my teammates because I'm helping you guys get better. So you want to try to find someone experienced, whether it's me or someone on your team or someone in your community, to either play with, observe, or learn from. They can provide so much value to you and just guidance, and also just be a good role model as a basketball player of knowledge for you. Most of all, I will say this is a skill that's hard to teach in life and in basketball. And this skill is called patience. Be patient in everything you do because you will not see the progress right away. Basketball is a sport of repetition, time, consistency, effort, failure, frustration. The list is a long list, but you have to be patient. Basketball takes time and practice to master. You have to encourage yourself internally, and you also have to enjoy the process of, like I said, learning and improving. Another skill that people don't talk about enough, and you forget once you start taking this game serious, and that's to have fun. Always remind yourself to have fun in this game of basketball, because every single time you play, it isn't going to be competitive and it's not going to be a competition. So if you don't enjoy it, it's going to be hard for you to go out there and work at something you don't enjoy. So keep that in mind. And then another thing that's important is set goals. Set goals for yourself. Encourage your goals to be specific, measurable, and achievable goals in terms of you as an individual, but also in terms of you doing it with your team, because there's also team success with goals as well as your individual goals. And this can just help provide better focus for you as well as motivation. And I have a couple more tips for you. One, conditioning and fitness. Please go watch some of the old training videos and just hear my quote of, are you in shape? Are you in the best shape? Why not? Okay, being the best fit and in shape player can not make you the best player, but it can make you an effective, an efficient, and a player that adds value to your team in some way. Okay, and that's very important. Lastly, I will give you this. You want to have a positive attitude. Positive attitude will carry your game to a level that you can't imagine, because even when bad things happen, staying positive helps those around you, your coach, your teammates, and even the fans that are cheering for you. Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't even realize there's a fan base that appreciates what you do. So if you give off negative energy, they will tend to not cheer as much. But if you're giving off positive energy, waving your hands, getting them involved, they're going to want to cheer and be excited for your success and your team's success. Overall, the biggest thing for you in having a positive attitude would be to utilize meditation and visualization in any skill enough to really just encourage yourself internally. And that's going to help improve memory and obtain all your different abilities of calmness and that patience that we're talking about through your training. Basketball U, I appreciate you. I thank you for listening and coming in. All this information is just for those first-time hoopers that are visiting the page looking for knowledge. I got you. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if there's anything that you need to know. But I'll let you know this one thing, and this is for sure. Someone's always working. Are you?